ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्
वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः
भद्रं कर्णेभिः देवाः
भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः
भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः
स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
परीक्ष्य लोकान् कर्मचितान् ब्राह्मणः निर्वेदमायात् नास्ति अकृतः कृतेन तद्विज्ञानार्थम् स गुरुमेव अभिगच्छेत् समित्पाणिः श्रोत्रियं ब्रह्मनिष्ठम् So this is the verse we were looking at, a very important verse and very popular verse also from this Upanishad. So this verse talks about why one should study Vedanta, okay, or how one comes about to studying Vedanta. So here the important thing is to understand the limitations of the results of action. First we have to understand that, then only the study of Vedanta will make any sense. So that is the main thing here. Even otherwise, when we talk about Vedanta and the qualifications for being a student of Vedanta, one of the qualifications which is talked about is Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha. So Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha means what object is permanent, eternal, that is Nitya, and what other objects which are non-eternal, ephemeral, temporary, whatever, you can use different words, but they are not their results are themselves, they don't last forever. That is Anitya. So Nitya, what is Nitya, what is Anitya, you should have some understanding. Even though you may not know about Nitya Vastu fully, properly, but what you really want is Nitya. That much understanding you should have as a student of Vedanta. More importantly, you should have understood the limitations of what is Anitya. See, we are all born, and then when we are brought up, we have a certain notion about ourselves. correct? So this notion of being an individual, this notion of being so and so with a particular history, correct, born to such and such parents, and so if you ask anybody who you are, they will give you a biography, correct, a biodata. So this notion of being an individual is not something we have arrived at by analyzing or examining. See here the important word, the first word in the verse itself is pariksha. Pariksha is a very important word. So you come to the study of Vedanta after analyzing and examining your own experiences. Okay. See, when we analyze our experience, what do we understand is that all of us are seekers. We are all seeking something or the other, correct? And in general, you can say we are seeking happiness, or we are seeking satisfaction. So these words we can use. And the idea is what? I am seeking satisfaction or happiness by gaining something, or by going somewhere, by experiencing something. So that is the general seeking which is going on by all the people. Anybody, it can be anybody in this world or even beyond this world, we don't know. But whoever is seeking, they are all seeking happiness and satisfaction. And how is this happiness or satisfaction being sought? It is being sought in attaining something, in undergoing some experience, you can say. But the problem is, this being happy or being a satisfied person, if we look at it, this happiness or satisfaction cannot be a quality of a particular object. That is very clear for all of us. It is neither an object nor a quality of a particular object. This is what we have to understand. If happiness or satisfaction is an object, we can go to the market and buy it in kilograms. It's not like that. Nor is it a quality of a particular object. Let us say you feel satisfied or happy buying a new car, correct? So can we say that then a new car has the quality of happiness or satisfaction? Even that we cannot say, because if the new car has a quality or a guna, as we say in Sanskritam, it has a guna of happiness or satisfaction, then everybody should be seeing that quality, correct, in the car. Maybe you feel satisfied and happy looking at the new car, but your neighbor may be having envy and jealousy also looking at your car. So we even have an advertisement in India, correct? Neighbors envy, owner's pride. So the same object is neighbor's envy, but it is owner's pride. So that means different people are looking at different things in the same object. And so we cannot say really satisfaction or happiness is even a quality of a particular thing. Then what is it? See, happiness or satisfaction, when we analyze that, is nothing but it's your own self, okay, which is reflected in a state of mind. So what is that? Whenever you don't look upon yourself as a wanting person, as somebody who is lacking something, you are happy, you are contented, you are satisfied. But as soon as I start looking at myself as lacking something, then it doesn't matter what all things you own, correct? You may be a billionaire, you may be having so many possessions, so many things, power, money, but let us say you still feel that you don't have something. Means you are still unhappy. That can even drive people to suicide, depression and all that. We have seen that. Many rich people, many so-called successful people, many powerful people, they are all miserable, depressed. Famous people are also depressed. There are so many examples, I don't have to give you. So you can then understand that the problem is not about possessing something. It's not about gaining something. It's about how we look at ourselves. And if you think that you are a dissatisfied person, unhappy person, so this dissatisfaction or unhappiness is centered on you. Is that clear? The problem is centered on you as a person. The person is dissatisfied. The person is unhappy. Then again, when you gain something, when you undergo an experience, the person is happy, the person is satisfied, but for how long? Till the time again you look upon yourself as dissatisfied or unhappy. So that means the object itself is only giving you an interlude, you can say. The object makes you look at yourself for some time as not a wanting person. But again, there are so many other things which make you feel that you are a wanting person. When you look at yourself, you are again dissatisfied with who you are, what you are, where you are, how you are, whichever way you look at it, it is all wanting. Then you have to again seek. So here the problem of the seeker is that the seeker does not understand that the problem is centered on oneself. Because the important thing is, if the problem is centered on oneself, you can't search for the solution somewhere else, correct? If the problem is centered on yourself, the solution also has to be centered on yourself. That's the important thing you have to understand. So my guru used to tell a story that it seems that there was a person who was searching for something outside her house or his house. Then another guy came there and he asked, "What are you searching for?" Then this person says, "I am searching for something, let us say my purse." Okay. Then he is asking, "Okay, where did you lose it?" "I think I kept it somewhere in my home." Okay, so you kept it somewhere in home. Then why are you searching outside in the streets for that? Then that person says, "There is street light is there only here. There is no current in my house. There is no light. So and it is dark. It is night now. I can't search in my house. So I am searching here." So if the person says like that, it doesn't make any sense, correct? You have lost something. You have lost something in one place. Just because light is there somewhere else, you can't search for it in that place. So the idea is that wherever you lost it, you have to search it there only. Then only you can find it. Similarly here, whatever we call happiness or dissatisfaction or satisfaction, unhappiness, all these things are all centered on you. So if it is centered on you as a person, then we have to search or we have to find the solution in oneself only, correct? If the problem is myself, the solution also has to be myself. It cannot be something else. So this is a very important insight. This is something you have to examine and understand. So how do we understand this? We can understand this because when you look at all your experiences, all the things which you can get by action or karma, okay, karma phala, whatever karma phala which you have attained till now in your life, if you look at all those things, you cannot say that those things have made you totally happy or totally satisfied with yourself, completely satisfied with oneself. So this is the thing you have to examine and understand. So the examination is the important thing. The analysis is the important thing. Pariksha, having examined what? Lokan. Lokan here means lokyate iti lokan. Whatever you experience, whatever you undergo. Not just loka like swarga and naraka. It is like, we can even expand the meaning of loka and say, whatever that you experience through pratyaksha, anumana, different pramanas. Okay, so we use different pramanas to know things. So using all this pramana, we have to now examine. Examine what? Examine all the things which you have taken for granted. So till now we have taken ourselves for granted that I am an individual, I am a wanting person. Another important thing you have taken for granted is what? The notion of being a successful person or a happy person from the society. Society says that you have to become a rich person to be happy. You have to be a successful person. You have to become a famous person, whatever. And we are all pursuing that. Either it is society or your parents, your immediate relatives and friends. All these people have a certain notion and we are also picking it up and we are going along with that. But doing all these things, gaining different things, attaining different things, has it made any difference to me fundamentally? Means it doesn't make a big difference. That is what you have to understand. This understanding first one should have even before we start this study of Vedanta. But even if it is not like that, see, many people come to Vedanta for different reasons. Some people, what we call as Smashana Vairagya. See, many people when they go to the what we call as graveyard, let us say, correct? Or wherever the funeral is happening, they encounter death at some point in their life. Then suddenly there is a feeling, what is all these things? At least temporarily one feels that we have to know something more than all these things, because if you see, everybody when they are alive, they want to do so many things, they want to gain so many things, thinking that it's all going to make them happy, satisfied. But in the end, you all have to join the majority, correct? You give up. At the time of death, many people are having still like omissions and commissions, whatever they have done, whatever they did not do. They are all having regrets about all these things. So most of the people are dying like that. So they, in spite of all the things they have attained, all the things they have gained, and all the things they have experienced, all these people are dying with regret, with a feeling of guilt, or with some pain and hurt. So that means that something is not correct in the way they have sought or in the way they have lived their life. So that is something to be analyzed. So this kind of analysis can happen even without the help of any guru or shastra. Okay, so by our own observation or thought experiment, we can say, correct? Because we don't have to undergo everything ourselves to understand certain things and gain an insight which will transform ourselves. So we can actually gain by knowing how others have lived, by reading somebody's biography, by hearing about somebody. So in our culture, if you see, the beauty is that even a normal person, not highly educated, let us say, a rural person, the one who is living in some village, they all are hearing our Purana, different stories in them, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Itihasa Purana and all, they are exposed to. So even in all this Itihasa Purana, what is told is what? Different stories are there. And even in that, what we see is kings. Even kings finally renounce everything and go to the forest to gain a certain knowledge about themselves, what is moksha, to gain moksha, let us say. So like this, these stories are also actually indicating something to us. And many times, even though we don't analyze it too much, we pick up many things by osmosis, by just growing up in a culture, by listening to all these things from childhood. We pick up many things, and there is a certain general knowledge is there within us. So in Sanskritam we call it apatata jnanam. So apatata jnanam anybody can have, that yes, this life which I am right now leading, where I think that I can attain different karma phala, and as a result I can become happy and contented, maybe that's not the right notion. So this needs to be further analyzed. So there is something more than this. Like this, people can come to a conclusion. So that kind of an examination and analysis can lead one to what is known as nirvedam. So in this particular verse, if you see brahmanaha nirvedam ayat, okay, pariksha lokan karma chitan. Karma chitan means what? That which is accumulated by karma. Okay, the karma phala. So karma phala itself, again in our tradition we have an understanding that karma phala is twofold. One we call drishta phala. So you do any karma, you immediately have a result which you are experiencing, which you can see. That is called drishta phala. Then you also have, depending on whether you have done something right or wrong, whether it was dharmic or adharmic, based on that we can say that you will also have what is known as adrishta phala. Adrishta means not seen. See, many times in Indian languages the word adrishta is there and it is translated into English as luck. But really adrishta is cannot be translated as luck, because for us adrishta is not based on chance. It's not based on chance. It is more of your own doing, correct? Whatever karma you have done, all these karma have twofold results, drishta and adrishta. The adrishta phala is accumulating in your account, either as punya or papa, depending on what you have done. And if it is punya, it is going to fructify later as a pleasant experience. If it is papa, it is going to fructify as a unpleasant experience. Let us say like that. So if that is the case, that also is fructifying. The only thing there is we don't know which exact punya is fructifying as which pleasant experience and which exact papa is fructifying as unpleasant experience. But still that's what our Veda talks about, and it goes along with my experience also. The general experience in my life does not contradict this piece of knowledge. So it's a believable thing. You can believe in papa and punya and the adrishta phala. So also the Veda further goes and reveals that if you gain enough punya by doing different karma, whether it is Vaidika karma or other karma. So we talked about Ishta and Purtam. Ishta Purtam. Ishti means all the Vaidika karma, Agnihotram, Vaishvadevam, Atityam. So there is a particular verse which talks about what are all these Ishtis or Yajnas. So all these Ishtis you do, you gain punya. And Purta karma also. Vapi, Kupa, Tadagadi, Devatayatananica, Anna Pradhanam Aramaha, Purtamitya Bidiyate, it says. So you dig wells, you give food as a dana, say Annadanam, or you build rest houses for people to rest, you build temples, so you do a lot of social work, let us say, seva. All these things also are going to give you punyam. Now this punya's result also, if you take, it will take you to Swarga. The Veda says that it will take you to Swarga. But the same Veda also tells you that Swarga is a karma phala. It is attained by karma. Means as soon as this karma is exhausted, you have to come back from the Swarga also. You can't be there forever. Because the Swarga phala, in Swarga you have a consistent, pleasant experience, let us say. But still it is not forever. There is nothing called eternal heaven. For us, there is no eternal heaven. Right from Brahmaloka onwards, you can go there provided you have enough punya, but you will have to come back once the punya is exhausted. Similarly, Naraka also. Naraka means consistently being in pain. Okay? And there also again, there is nothing like it will last forever. There is no eternal hell where you are going to burn forever. That is only to frighten you, I think. Those who want to convert you will frighten you that if you don't follow me, you will go to eternal hell. But there is no proof for that, correct? They can still frighten you and maybe some people fall for it also. But the idea is what? Both eternal hell and eternal heaven are illogical. See, what is illogical is not believable for us. What is beyond logic can be taken as something revealed by a pramana, provided that pramana is reliable. Provided you give the status to it as a means of knowledge, you can take that. So, for example, Veda says that there is papa and punya. That is believable. Veda says that if you have enough punya, you can go to Swarga. That also can neither be proved nor disproved. So, if you accept the Veda as a pramana, then that is a valid knowledge and we accept that. But eternal hell and eternal heaven are illogical. They are contradicted by logic itself. Because that which starts in time cannot be eternal. Because it was not there already, it will not be there also later. That is our logic. So that which is illogical cannot be believed. It is not believable. So that is something we have to be very clear.
Hey Jay.
Yeah.
So even for the person who is seeking, who's not able to realize, right? This who am I search could be eternal search, right?
Yeah, eternal means no. That's where Bhagavan says that those who have already become a mumukshu, they have started the Shastra, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. Even for some reason, let them become Yoga Brashta. So in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan is talking about Yoga Brashta. Yoga Brashta means somebody who started this journey, but they fell away, for whatever reasons they did not gain the complete knowledge. But even them, they will again start in another life. They will start from where they left in the previous life. Okay. Like this, he gives an assurance. So that's why we have all these prodigies. And even, in fact, we get confused by looking at all these prodigies, correct? Because they seem to have gained a certain insight and knowledge without going through the normal Guru-Shishya Samvada or the study properly with a Guru and all that. And then people think that then we can also follow such a person. And they keep on waiting for that insight to dawn. But that's not the point. They have to be treated only as an exception. Okay. So the rule is given here, in fact, in this verse. So those who have examined the results of action and they have a certain understanding that the results of action, whether it is here in this world or even going to heaven, are all not permanent. They are all impermanent. And they are not going to make me totally satisfied or happy. This is the fundamental understanding you have to come to. So if you analyze properly, then you will come to this understanding, because understand this, nobody wants to be a seeker forever. In fact, we are all helplessly seeking, correct? we are all seekers not by choice. We are really seekers by instinct, and we are helpless about that, because when we look at ourselves, we are dissatisfied with who we are. So the sense of dissatisfaction is centered on me. Whenever I look at myself, I am judging myself because I have enough self-consciousness. In my own judgment, when I look at myself, I am wanting, and a wanting person, if I am, then I cannot be satisfied or happy. I become dissatisfied. So the fundamental problem of being a self-dissatisfied person is what is making me a seeker, because then I have to seek and gain something so that I don't look upon myself as a wanting person again. But whatever I gain is not going to make me somebody who is free from wants forever, correct? That is the fundamental understanding you have to come, because whatever you are seeking and gaining is the result of an action, and any result of an action is limited, whether here or hereafter, and that limited karma phala is never going to make you completely free from being a wanting person. This is the thing you have to understand by analyzing. This is what we call as nitya nitya vastu vivekaha. Okay. So any anitya vastu, which I gain, correct, is not going to make me free from being a wanting person. Temporarily, maybe I don't look upon myself as wanting, so I feel satisfied, I feel happy. But then again that thing goes away. It's only a state of mind, correct? And mind keeps on changing depending on the situation. So if as long as you are depending on the situation to be happy and satisfied, you are never going to be totally satisfied or happy, because the situations will change. As the situation changes, then your state of mind also will change, then you will become unhappy again. So even the karma phala is all situational only, correct? It brings a certain situation, the gain of the karma phala, but that situation itself is not going to last forever, because karma phala itself is limited. And when the situation changes again, then you are again back to square one. You are the same wanting person. Now this is the cycle which you have to understand, this vicious cycle. By examining this and understanding this, you gain a certain viveka. That viveka will automatically lead you to vairagya, correct? That is what is called as nirvedam here. Nirvedam means dispassion, vairagya. So here actually it is not that Shruti says that have vairagya. No. Shruti is saying you do analysis, pariksha. You examine, you analyze, and if you analyze correctly and understand your fundamental problem properly, automatically the result will be nirvedam. The vairagya will be there. Okay? Because you have understood what is your fundamental problem, and any type of karma phala. See, in the Shastra we say that karma phala is only of 4 types. They categorize it like that also. There is one way of analyzing it. So what is that? See, something you create newly. So using karma you can create something new. That is one thing. Then using karma you can reach somewhere or obtain something, like going to Bombay from Chennai, correct? So you reach somewhere, you gain something, you obtain something, that is also can be a result of karma phala. Either you totally create something new, like you create a pot out of clay, correct? That is karma phala. The potter has to do something to create a pot. Or you go to some place, you undergo some experience. These are all another type of karma phala. Third is what? Samskaryam they call it. Third is what? You you purify something which is already there. Even, see, this purification is not only physical. See, right now there is a Upanayanam season here, everybody is having Upanayanam of their sons and all that. Upanayanam also is a samskara, correct? Samskarya means it purifies you and then you become a different person or a different from what you were already. So purification also can be the result of karma phala. It can be a karma phala. It can be a result of action. Or modification, fourth. Like milk is becoming curd. Okay. Vikaryam. Modification is called vikaryam. So karma itself can give four types of phala. Correct? You can create something newly, or apyam. Apyam means you obtain or you reach something. Vikaryam, samskaryam. Samskaryam means you can purify. Vikaryam means it is modified. One thing is modified into another. That can also be a karma phala. Now, if you take all these things, any of these things, moksha is not any of these things. The freedom from being a wanting person cannot be gained or attained by any of these types of karma phala. Moksha cannot be created newly. If it is created newly, it will not last forever. Moksha again cannot be reached. You can't go to Golok Vrindavan and say that it is moksha. Because Veda itself says that to whichever loka you go, you have to come back. Veda is very clear about that. We saw that also, correct? So you can go. Even people who think that by going somewhere they will get moksha are all vimudaha and all, this Upanishad says very clearly. They are all deluded. Andhenaiva niyamana yathandaha. They are all like blind people being led by other blind people. So you can't reach. This reaching somewhere is the biggest thing, correct? All theologies are the same thing. They are all talking about going to heaven. Whether in India, also there are theologies. And outside India also you have theologies. The only thing which differs is their description of heaven. So somebody from desert will say in the heaven you will have garden and all that. But India we have seen enough gardens, correct? So maybe Indian heaven is described slightly differently. Somebody else's heaven is defined something differently, but it's all tourism promotion, like Swamiji used to say. So tourism promotion is not going to help me. So it's not an apyam. Moksha cannot be apyam or prapyam. And moksha cannot be gained by purifying and all that also. It's not like you have to remove something. There is no real removal. If something is subjected to mala or dirt, even if you purify, after a few days it will again become dirty, correct? We all know, correct? We use copper or brass for our panchapatra, correct? We do sandhya. Now that copper or brass panchapatra, if you leave it, so one day you actually, maybe once in a week or something, you nicely clean it, maybe polish it. It is nice and bright. Then what happens? After a couple of days, again it is gone. Its shine is gone. Its color is gone. After 1 week, it will become like green or whatever, some other color. Silver means it will become dark. So again you have to clean. That means, so if really you have to clean yourself to attain moksha means, that means if you are subjected to dirt, any amount of cleaning is also not going to solve, because again and again you will become dirty then. So moksha cannot be the result of cleaning or purification also. And finally it can also not be by vikarya, correct? It cannot be through modification or something, that you yourself will modify yourself into something else. So from a manushya you become a deva, then you have moksha. No. Even if you become Deva, the same problem. You are still the Jiva. And you will be frightened. In fact, Taittiriya Upanishad says, Bhishat smad vataf pavate, Bhisho deti suryaha and all that. So even this wind is afraid and that's why it is blowing. Sun is rising because of the fear of Isvara, because somebody else is the Lord, correct? There is somebody to overlord. They are all only Devatas. So as long as you think you are a Devata and you are an individual, you are also subjected to the same fear. So that's not the point. You cannot become somebody else and then by modifying yourself or changing yourself that you can gain moksha. So all these notions are all not correct. So karma phala itself cannot be something which can give me moksha. This is the understanding to which you have to come. Now this understanding can come to you even in a vague form. Some kind of an insight can be there because you are listening to some public lectures of somebody, you read some book by chance, or you heard some katha kalakshepa, or you read some paperback book you bought somewhere in the airport. Whichever way, this general knowledge or apatata jnanam can come to you. And then you become a mumukshu. But again, even here the important thing is what? You can be a mumukshu. You desire freedom from all these issues which we have, correct? Freedom from being a wanting person, freedom from pain, freedom from hurt, freedom from guilt, freedom from being a small person, freedom from being a mortal. All these freedoms you may desire. So you are a mumukshu. So if you desire for freedom from all limitations, then you are a mumukshu. But then, even then what? It may not guarantee you anything. You are a mumukshu, fine. But then how am I going to gain this moksha? There again, there are a lot of wrong notions going around, correct? People say that, okay, in some level they understand that the problem is centered on oneself, so that solution also has to be centered on oneself. This understanding many people have. Most of the mumukshus have this understanding. But then what is the notion? The general notion is, okay, you have a problem centered on you. Solution also is in you, means look within. Close your eyes. Dive deep inside. Do meditation. Find out who am I. Or gain some experience. Silence your mind. Remove all thoughts from your mind. All this, do some yoga. So there are different yogas are available in the market. So you can try out any yoga. So now that also is not the solution, because many people, they are all genuine people, correct? They are interested in becoming free. They have a certain insight, but still they didn't get the right guidance. Maybe they didn't get the right pramana. Why? Because if the problem is centered on me and the solution also is centered on me, means the only type of solution which is possible is what? That I am already a Nitya Mukta. Because whatever is Nitya, whatever is eternal cannot start in time. That means already I am a Mukta. Already I am a Shuddha. Nitya Mukta Shuddha Swarupaha and all we hear. Even see, the beauty in our tradition is, even the person who is not studying Vedanta, but even if, let us say, you are chanting Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, or even some Ashtotra you are doing, means at least the Lord is being whatever praised using all these words. Okay, so we get some exposure to these things. So the idea is what? If you are going to have freedom, and if that has to be everlasting, if I want to be totally satisfied with me, means the only way is that you have to be the limitless. Limitlessness or infinity cannot be created. It cannot be reached because it is already here. Space wise it has to be already there. Time wise it has to be already there. It cannot be attained by cleaning also. The limitless cannot be dirtied by anything. And the limitless cannot be modified also. It cannot change. If something changes, it is no more limitless. It will be subjected to time. So the limitless has to be already there. And I am that limitless. That is the implication. There is no other solution possible. You understand that? If the problem is one of me being a limited person, at least the notion, correct? I have a notion that I am a limited person, I am a wanting person. If that is the problem, and the solution I am seeking is to be limitless, is to be free from all limitations, because karma phala is not going to give me that. That is very clear. We have analyzed that. Even from your own experience, from anybody's experience, you can come to a conclusion that karma phala is not going to make me free. So that means the only solution which is really possible is that I have to already be that limitless. If you are already that limitless, then why are you having even the problem? The problem itself is then illegitimate, correct? If there is a solution, if the solution is real, the problem is false. If the problem is real, there is no real solution, because if you are really limited, then you can never become limitless. Understand that. If the problem is real, there is no solution. If the solution is real, then there is no real problem. Now that is where we are actually. So if the problem is not real, it is only one of ignorance. It is born of ignorance. So if the problem is one of ignorance, then what is the solution? The solution is only gaining knowledge. Knowledge alone is the opponent of ignorance. Is that clear? Knowledge alone is opposed to ignorance. Gaining an experience is not knowledge. Understand that. We are experiencing so many things. Our experience don't give us knowledge automatically. Experiences are dumb really. Unless you are able to interpret your experience correctly, it will not give you knowledge. My experience is that sun is rising every day. Is it knowledge? My experience is that I am seeing snake on rope. Is it real? Or I am seeing mirage water. So experiences can be misleading. Experience is not knowledge. Knowledge has to be true to what it is revealing, correct? Knowledge has to be true to the object which you are trying to know. That is why it is called Vastu Tantram. Knowledge has to be Vastu Tantram, means it is dependent on the object which you are trying to know. If something is an apple, and if you know it as an apple, then only it is knowledge. But apple is there, but you are knowing it as orange, means it is not knowledge, correct? It is not prama, it is called brahma in Sanskrit. It becomes an error. So for somebody who is colorblind, maybe they are seeing it differently, we don't know. So the Brahma, the reason for the Brahma may be so many different things, correct? Either your pramana itself is not proper, pramana in this case, your eyes are not proper. Or there is a defect in the pramata, the knower is distracted, not available. Even though the pramana is operating properly, sometimes somebody says something you don't even hear that. Because the knower is not backing up the pramana properly. Then also knowledge doesn't take place. So knowledge takes place only when the knower, the means of knowledge, and the object of knowledge are aligned. They have to be aligned. Then knowledge takes place. Understand, it is knowledge is not subjected to your will. You cannot will that I like only apple, but orange is there. So you cannot say, since I like apple, I will only know that as apple. Although orange is there, I am saying it is apple. You can't do that. Is that clear? Knowledge does not depend on your will. It is only dependent on the object which you are trying to know. That's why it is called Vastu Tantram. But karma is Purusha Tantram. Action, even to gain knowledge, there has to be some Purusha Tantra, like you have to open your eyes, means there is will involved in that, I agree. You have to do something so that the knowledge will take place. But after doing that, your will is not involved in that knowledge. If the will is involved, in fact, it's a problem. Your own likes and dislikes will come into the picture and it will color your perception, your knowledge. It becomes a problem really. Knowledge means it has to be free from the interference of your free will. In fact, sometimes it happens with automatic pramana. See, many of our sense perception are all automatic, correct? That's why if you go to some shady places, something is smelling, dirty place you go, your nose will pick it up anyway. In spite of your will, you want to smell something nice like a rose or some scent or incense, sandalwood, let us say, but still whatever stench is coming is different, correct? You can't help it. So it is not subjected to your will. In an automatic pramana, the pramana anyway operates irrespective of your will. But when we come to Vedanta, the important thing you have to understand is the pramana which is required to gain this knowledge so that I know myself as free from all wants, all limitations. That pramana is not perception. It's not even inference. Perception is mostly automatically it takes place. Inference involves your own mind, some deliberate operation of the pramana. And shabda, words, are again they are deliberate means of knowledge. You have to operate, or somebody has to operate the words properly so that that means of knowledge operates correctly and the knowledge takes place. And particularly if the means of knowledge is shabda or words, there are so many issues are there. The words have to be interpreted correctly. Whatever the teacher is saying, the student has to understand it in the same meaning. Because the words are the carriers of knowledge. And whatever is the understanding of the guru, that guru's understanding has to be transmitted to the Shishya. Whatever the guru is seeing himself or herself in a particular way. That has to be transmitted properly through the words. That is the magic, in fact. There is a magic of words. Because what the guru is trying to convey is not the meaning of any one word. But still it has to be conveyed only through words. And that is where the magic is. So that's why in fact in Gita Bhagavan says Ascharyavat pashyati kashchidenam Ascharyavat vadati tathaiva chanyaha Ascharyavat Ascharyavat shunoti. Like this, it's all like Ascharya. It's all a wonder. This Vedanta teaching itself is a wonder. Somebody is teaching you with words. Somebody is listening and somebody understands. And what they understand is that they have understood that I am the whole. and I am not the meaning of any one word. In fact, I am the meaning of all the words, and I am not the meaning of any one word. And that is me. And that is the magic, that is the wonder. It's all a wonder. And that communication happens through words is a wonder. But for the knowledge to take place, your will should not interfere. Is that clear? If the will interferes, then the knowledge will not take place properly. It will become an error. So that is the thing. All the preparation, all the sadhana we are talking about are all to prepare yourself so that this knowledge can take place and you can know yourself as you are without any wrong notions. So that is the beauty of knowledge, and that transformation from being a mumukshu to a jignasu is the important thing. If that doesn't take place, then you will still be a seeker only, because the solution cannot be anything else other than knowledge. And if knowledge is the solution, then from being a seeker of freedom, you have to become a seeker of knowledge. And if you are a seeker of knowledge, you have to seek knowledge using the right means of knowledge. And what is the right means of knowledge here? Again, who handles that means of knowledge? All these things are again important, because the same Veda has been commented by many different people, correct? And they have come to different conclusions. In fact, one Acharya says that Atma Atatvamasi, because he brings his intelligence and grammatical knowledge and he makes a sandhi there, because in the Upanishad he says Atma Tattvamasi, correct? It ends with Atma is a dirgha, Atma Tattvamasi. Now grammatically that dirgha can be broken as Atma Atatvamasi, correct? Grammatically you can say it is valid. That is why we have what is known as Mimamsa. Okay, you have to analyze. You cannot just break anything in any way you want. You can't use your grammatical knowledge and your analytical abilities and arrive at some other meaning. You have to analyze how the section starts, how a particular section of Veda ends, whether what it is revealing is unique, what it is revealing is not revealed by anything else, whether there are any internal logic is being used, analogy is being used to reveal something, and what is praise, what is really it is trying to reveal. Because certain things are said just for praising something, correct? Hyperbole is there. So all these things we have to analyze. So we say upakrama upasamharau abhyasa apurvata phalam arthavadopapatti cha lingam tatparya nirnaye. All these things we have to see. Upakrama upasamhara, how something starts, how it ends, and what is repeatedly emphasized. Abhyasa, apurvata, whether what is being said is not already known. That is very important. A pramana should reveal to you what is anadhigatam, what is not already known by anything else. Now if an Acharya says Atma Atatvamasi, that already I know, correct? I don't have to study the Shastra for 12 years to arrive at a conclusion that Atma Atatvamasi. You go to the road and ask somebody, that guy, you ask him, are you Isvara? He will say no. So it is a avichara siddha only, already it is siddha. And to reinforce that, you don't have to study Shastra again. From Pratyaksha only I know that I am not Isvara, at least that is the notion I have. So apurvata is important. Phalam, what is the result of this knowledge? Then arthavada. Arthavada means, I told you, certain things are just, some stories may be told to emphasize a particular point. So what is just said for as a praise or as a story, that we have to again take into account. And upapatti means logic or analogy, internally consistent. See, even though the Veda is revealing something which is axiomatic, you can say, but then in its own system it is using certain analogies and some logic. Internally consistent logic is being used. That also has to be brought into to understand, because in one place Veda is saying this, in some other place it is saying something else. Means we have to reconcile that and arrive at a unified understanding, a holistic understanding of what it is trying to reveal. So these are all important things, and you cannot do it yourself. That is why you require a guru. Okay, so that's what is going to be talked about. So we'll continue this next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om.
Harihi Om.